people say that God allowed polygyny in the Old Testament because of wars and wanted to populate the earth. With all these theories people have that I've never seen in the Bible, but I do think it's possible that he allowed it for whatever reason, and then he allowed monogamy, and it served its purpose for a period of time. But my question is now, since the sexual revolution, right? Because now you have all these women that are in the streets, and most women are having sex before marriage, even in the church. And I've lived this world. I wrote a book about this called Why Waiting Works, How Fast Sex Prevents Us from Finding Love. So this has been my world for the last 5 years. The majority of Christian women are sexually active. I don't know what the percentages are. I don't have that. My thought is I heard Andrew Tate say something on a podcast, and he said monogamy isn't the issue. He says the challenge is for men to find a woman to be monogamous, that's worthy to be monogamous too, is the language that he used. And I do see that, because since the sexual revolution, men don't have to get married anymore to have sex, and the women have already been having sex outside of marriage. So now you're going to try to convince them they have to buy it when they've already been giving it away to other people. That's going to be a tough sell. So is it possible that God, just like he allowed polygyny in the Old Testament because it served a purpose, maybe he allowed monogamy for, the last 2,000 years, and now it's not working anymore because the marriage rates are so low and men just aren't doing it anymore? My question is, how are we going to make marriage more attractive to men? Because right there, for some reason, they're not finding it attractive because they're not doing it anymore. And not just marriage. How are we going to make obedience to God more attractive to men? Because right now they're fornicating, at least the ones that can are.
Yeah.
And that might not be a question you have an answer to. It's just a thought.
Yeah. I want to go back just to make it clear that God never approved polygyny. He never approved it. Just because something is seen and regulated in the text doesn't mean God's stamp of approval. When I say stamp of approval, in other words, is that he was pleased by it. He never commanded polygamy, nor did, and I would disagree with, I know we've had the debate with the certain interpretations of certain texts, but it was never God's will nor purpose for a man to have multiple wives, and that was not God's creative purposes from the beginning. So I don't make the argument that he did, it was good for a while, but it's no longer good. No, it was never good.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share it also with a friend. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks.
But to answer the second part of your questions, we live in a sin-cursed world. And I'm going to tell you, isn't it amazing that although Solomon was permitted to marry as many wives as he wanted, still lusted and still got in trouble with women? So the answer to man's sin problem of lust is not multiple wives. Sure, marriage will look a lot more attractive to a man if you tell him he can have more wives. There's a part of my fallen nature that would have loved that, if you understand what I'm saying.
I don't agree that it's lust, though. That's what people accuse me of. I've been abstinent for 18 of the last 23 years. Everybody that's in my comment accusing me of lust, I've been abstinent far longer than them. They went out and got married within a year or two. And it's like they didn't abstain. And it's not what it is. I don't even know that most men would practice it. But for me, what it would have done before is, instead of a man waiting for this one magical unicorn to come along, it would just be a pragmatic decision. It would be like, I met girls that were good girls. I would have been like, you know what? She's a good girl. She's adding value to my life. I'm adding value. Let's get married. If I decide I want a second down the road, I could take one, whatever. God's cool with it. I would have got married. And it would have been good for me. It would have been good for them, because I've seen their lives since they went out and dated a bunch of non-Christians and slept with them and whatever. And at least I would have led them closer to God. I don't know if I would have even taken a second, but knowing that I could have, because for whatever reason, men get scared before marriage. I'm sure you're a pastor, guys freaking out before they get married, because there's one and only till death do us part, forsaking all others. I don't see that in the Bible. And I think it freaks men out. And they may never, the likelihood is most would never actually do it, but knowing that they could would make them get married. I'd get married at 18 years old. I would have been married probably.
You know who else it freaks out? Women.
Like women, they dream of getting married. Men dream of losing their virginity.
Because I agree with you, but it still freaks women out as well. Women, especially in today's society, they enjoy sex just as much as me, if not more in many cases.
If you enjoyed this clip and you want to watch another, click here. If you want to watch the full episode, click here. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.